It is September 1848 in Cavendish, Vermont. A railroad foreman is about to lose half his frontal lobe and keep on talking. Phineas P. Gage is 25 years old. He is a blasting foreman on the Rutland and Burlington Railroad, cutting a roadbed through rock south of the village of Cavendish, Vermont. He carries a custom tamping iron made for him by a neighboring blacksmith. 3 feet 7 inches long, an inch and a quarter thick at the base, 13 and a quarter pounds of pointed steel. His doctor will later describe him as a man with an iron will inside an iron frame. The job is routine. Drill a hole into the outcrop, pour in blasting powder, drop the fuse, then pack sand on top so the explosion blows outward into the rock instead of upward into the operator. At about 4:30 on September 13th, 1848, Gage drills, pours, drops the fuse, and turns his head over his right shoulder to look at his men. He opens his mouth to speak. The sand step is skipped. The pointed tip of his tamping iron grazes the rock and sparks. The powder ignites underneath it. The iron rockets out of the hole like a thrown javelin. It enters Gage's face just below the angle of his left lower jaw. It passes behind his left eye. It tears through the left side of his brain and his left frontal lobe, then exits straight out the top of his skull through the frontal bone. The iron sails 80 feet through the air and lands point first in the dirt, smeared with blood and brain. Gage is thrown onto his back. He convulses for a few seconds, then he sits up and speaks. He walks, with light support, to an ox cart and sits upright in it for the 3/4 mile ride into town. He is on the porch of the hotel when the first physician, Edward Williams, drives up. Gage greets him with, "Doctor, here is business enough for you." While Williams examines the exit hole at the crown of the skull, Gage vomits, and the effort pushes about half a teacup of his own brain out through the wound onto the floor. Dr. John Harlow takes over at 6. He picks bone fragments out of the scalp wound, replaces 2 large pieces of skull, and bandages cheek and scalp loosely so the wound can drain. Gage falls into infection. For most of a month he is semi-conscious, raving, near death. A coffin is prepared for him. In the 5th week the fever breaks, and he sits up again. He is blind in his left eye, his left cheek hangs slack, and he has no other neurological deficit. He is also no longer Gage. His friends, his employers, the men who had thought him the most efficient foreman on the line, say his personality has been replaced. Profane, capricious, impulsive, childish in judgment, unable to stick to a plan. The railroad will not hire him back. He carries the iron with him as a relic, exhibits himself at Barnum's American Museum, drives stagecoaches in Chile for 7 years, then comes home to his mother in San Francisco. In May of 1860, he dies in status epilepticus, 11 years and 8 months after the explosion. Today, his skull and his tamping iron share a case at the Warren Anatomical Museum at Harvard. He survived losing a frontal lobe. We learnt we had one.